I'm Brian Galligan, the Director of Horticulture here at the Naples Botanical Garden. We're going to be talking about a few flowering trees. One of our favorites here is the Tabebuia impetaginosa, and this is a hybrid Tabebuia. We kind of say it's apricot colored, peach colored. It's typically impetaginosa has a purplish pink flower, and it's known as the pink trumpet tree. We have a number of the pink trumpet trees on site, especially in the Brazil garden. The pink trumpet is starting to fade at the moment, but we're starting to go back. We're now starting to have the Tabebuia aurea, which you can see in the distance here, known as the silver Tabebuia. And this is at the FGCU Kapnick Education Facility. This is the buttercup tree. It's Cochleospermum vitifolium, and this is Flora pleno, which means it has a double flower. And we're in the parking lot here at the Naples Botanical Garden. As you can see, a number of cars in the parking lot, but you're met by this wonderful flowering tree. It blooms on the terminal ends, so unfortunately it is a little bit sensitive to cold spells. If we do get a frost, the tips are unfortunately burned off and you may not get flower that year. This year was a fairly mild winter, so you can see this plant is loaded with flowers. In our Brazil garden, you can actually see the Cochleospermum vitifolium, the single form, which is more common in the wild, or obviously the only occurring wild type. This one obviously has a double flower, as I mentioned, the Flora pleno. Here's another one of our parking lot trees to add interest to our wonderful entry. This is the Tabebuia Dricka. It's one of the yellow Tabebuias. It's easily identified when it is in full foliage with its kind of tomentose leaves, which means that the leaves are fairly hairy, and it kind of has a brown hue to it when it is in full leaf. You can see one of the leaves here, which doesn't give you a great indication of that, but you can feel the tomentose leaves. But wonderful yellow flowers, does somewhat defoliate completely and then cover in flowers. And then you have these fun little fuzzy seed pods once the flowers are pollinated. But this is one of our true favorite Tabebuias. This is the Tabebuia Dricka, and this can be seen in other parts of our garden as well, in the South Grove and a few other areas. We're in the North Grove now at the Botanical Garden, and one of our wonderful understory trees here is the Soraka Indica. There are a number of different Sorakas and Brownias all throughout this shaded understory. They're known as the handkerchief plants because they actually send out their new leaves kind of limp like a handkerchief, and then as it gains strength, the limb will actually lift up and the leaves will harden. They are wonderful flowering shrubs. This is the Soraka Indica. There's also Soraka typengensis and a number of others that we have featured in our Asian garden. But this is Soraka Indica. This tree is the flame of the forest. It's called Butea monosperma. It's a wonderful Asian tree. It actually usually defoliates and covers in these awesome orange flame flowers. Due to our mild winter and fairly wet winter, the tree has kept its leaves, so this is not its full glory by any means. But you can see how magnificent that orange color is. And these are featured in our Asian garden as well. There's a yellow variety that's available, but very hard to find.